So if you've been following this channel for the past year, basically, you would know that recently me and Devara both completed the 9+1 program with the New York Roadrunners to qualify for the New York City Marathon. And if you're watching this video, you're either friends, fans, or family, or you most likely want to figure out how can I run the New York City Marathon. And I'm here to tell you one of the options that I personally really enjoyed as a New York City resident. It was pretty easy, and just for reference, Devara is from Texas and was going to school at the time on Long Island and also in Philly. So it is very doable for both New York City residents and obviously non-residents of the state. I'm going to give you the breakdown of the total prices as well as the merch, gear, and medals that I received throughout the year running for the New York Roadrunners. So as I said, first we're going to go through the actual races that I ran for the 9+1 program, which 9+1 means you have to run 9 races and volunteer at 1. The 9 races, you have to pay for all of them. 3 of them could be virtual, and one of them, obviously, like I said, is volunteering, which is for free. I'm going to go through the list of what I ran, the prices and all that, and then I'll get into discussion of my favorite, least favorite, what I would love to run again, what I missed that what I would like to run, etc., etc. So starting off, we have the virtual resolution run in January, which was $35, which is more money for a virtual race than obviously an in-person race, and they know that because of the demand. I just ran it basically as one of my other training runs. It's a little unfortunate that that race costs more than half of the races on this list. April 13th, because we were a little bit late for early 2025 registration since we signed up for the program literally in December, so we missed the first couple months of actual races. But on April 13th, Caroline filled in for me because I was at clinical, and she ran the Retro 4 Mile, which was $25, and you get a nice little t-shirt out of it. It was a little more of a feminine t-shirt, so I'm glad Devara and Caroline enjoyed that race and ran it, and they just had a blast, so it actually worked out pretty well. Back to back, basically within 3 days apart of each other, were the Mindful 5K and RUN Brooklyn 5K, $25 a pop on May 3rd and May 6th. So for the RUN Brooklyn 5K, you got this bib and you got a mint green cap. That mint green cap is indoors and I'm freezing, and that was the one item I forgot to bring out, so I'm gonna put it right up here. It was an okay looking cap, like I'm not a big fan of the color mint green. Now for the Mindful 5K, this is the bib, and I'm gonna show the shirt here now. This was the shirt, yellow, not my favorite color, but you know, pretty solid design. A lot of great energy on that race day. It was nice and warm. The Run 5K in Brooklyn was in Prospect Park, and it was very muggy. It was like borderline raining, but it was really just misty. It was a little bit cold, and right after me and Devara went to a Yankee game. So that was definitely a memorable race with decent energy too, but the Mindful 5K just being super sunny and just having so many like extra volunteers and also, you know, just fans supporting like their loved ones. Very different races in terms of like actual experience. Coming into the next one was the Brooklyn Half. So this one, like I said, I volunteered at, and it was nice because you get one of these kind of running hats, and it says Brooklyn there, it says volunteer on the back, and you get a little badge, which was pretty cool as well. And that's the back with some extra writing. Now we're getting into the summer. June, we ran the Citizens 10K. There was no merch for that race, but you did have the option of buying a nice green singlet. I didn't buy it because I was getting a singlet from a different race anyways, and I usually just run in t-shirts anyways, but this is the bib. Simple bib, nice color green. A lot of sponsors at this race. So we got some bells up at these guys, some cowbells like you always see, and a pretty nice medal. I'll untangle it a little bit there. And you got that on the back like usual. The band is pretty simple, it says Citizens all over it, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the medal. It's a really nice color green. Green and red are my favorite colors, so pretty solid there. And continuing into the summer, we have the Achilles 4 Mile. The Citizens 10K, like I just mentioned, was $50, and the 4 Mile for Achilles was $25. And you got a lot of cool stuff out of it. So you got this bib, which was a very odd shape in my opinion, but I don't know. It was okay overall. So in these little details, this is actually in Braille. This race was basically Achilles is for kind of like disabled athletes. This was probably my favorite race to run, honestly, and I really just love the energy, the amount of support for these disabled athletes, and the amount of just like, I don't know, it was just so nice. It was also in Central Park, which was my only race in Central Park this year. Pretty good elevation, like I said, held a really good pace, got to film some of it. My dad was there, so it was nice to have him supporting me. And I got a pretty solid singlet out of it. So I will probably be racing in this. Very nice, lightweight, nice neon green color so people can see you at night. So I really enjoyed that one. Starting off in the fall, we have two back-to-back races again within a week. We ran the 5th Avenue Mile on September 7th. That race was actually quite expensive, even though it was just a mile. You would probably be like, why the hell would you pay $45 for a mile? I don't know, honestly. Besides, it was a really cool race. It was premium, but it was just a mile. My dad and I both ran this race, so my dad covered for Dev, and we have two bibs, different colors, and they were separated by age. So that's why they're different colors. And we got some really nice shorts. They're from New Balance. Almost all the merch, I believe, is actually from New Balance. So you know it's pretty solid quality. And these shorts are netted, which is nice. Like I said, you have this little logo here. You have the New Balance logo again. But pretty nice shorts. I've ran in them a few times. Very lightweight, fit very well. Obviously, very like long string, so you can tighten it as much as you need. But yeah, really enjoy the merch. Really enjoy that race. Was hurt before and even more hurt after, but in my head it was worth it. A week after that, September 14th, Bronx 10 mile, and that was $50. Awesome race. Wish I could have ran it. My dad had to step in for me because I literally could not. This is the medal, and I really love the, I'm gonna unwind this for you guys. I just think it was such a nice, like, little like straps this way, right? Bronx 10 mile like that. So really nice, but very solid metal. This was the bib. I just love the color scheme for it. And then you also got a t-shirt, which was pretty nice. It was cream color. So it's not white, it is cream with, you know, the red. And then you got the usual sponsors on the back. So very solid merch. The last race we signed up for personally was the October 12th Staten Island Half. I was so ready to run this race. At this point, I recovered. It was about a month later that I was injured, so I had about 3 weeks of rest, and I was ready to just bang this out, and I never got the chance to. We got hit with a really bad storm, and New York Roadrunners canceled this race. The half marathon was also $50, and you got this bib, and you got a nice long sleeve, which was nice to run in this winter so far. You got a nice light blue color with the, like I said, the usual sponsors on the back, but just overall some nice patterns. That is all the merch we got, all the medals. Like I said, I'm gonna do a little like viewing at the end after the outro of all the merch laid out essentially. But that was it. So since that race got rained out, New York Roadrunners was very nice to allow a couple options where you can either use that race and just finish the 9+1, or you can be refunded. I chose the economical route. So I actually got refunded, signed up for the Thankful 5K, which is a virtual race, and now I have like $50 left over in my account, or 25, whatever it is. So it's like I got this shirt for free essentially, and I'm gonna be able to put that towards a race in 2026. So recapping once more, we ran the virtual resolution run for $35, the retro 4 mile for $25, the mindful 5K for $25, Brooklyn 5K for $25, Citizens 10K for $50, Achilles 4 mile for $25, Fifth Avenue mile for $45, Bronx 10 mile for $50, Staten Island half marathon for $50. So adding all of those costs together, mind you, refunding myself for that half marathon, it came out to a total of $315 for all 9 races, plus the cost of actual registration for the New York City Marathon. That's another $250, which means the total cost of qualifying and registering for the New York City Marathon through the 9+1 program is about $570. That's pretty good. In my opinion, that's pretty good. I know there's someone that I've been seeing on social media basically saying like they rather pay $5,000 essentially to just like skip that whole process. I think that's like crazy. $570, like especially if you're a New York City resident, like $570, you get to run all these races, you get free merch, you get medals, you get to practice, you get like mini goals to use as stepping stones essentially in your training, and you rather just pay, like, I don't know, that seems a little crazy to me. New York Roadrunners is pretty damn legit. Like, they really do work with you. I will say, like, a lot of their training runs that are free, obviously, and don't count towards this program do get canceled due to weather. I know recently, because it's been consistently below 30 degrees, they keep canceling it. But that's really just like, you got to understand, like, that's for legal reasons. Like, if you're on a track team in high school, you're not going out, or at least legally in New York, you're not allowed to go out if it's below like 32 degrees. So it's like, these things just make sense, and you can't really blame them when they're looking out for you. So I personally rate this program because it's obviously, like, I really did enjoy it. I got, like I said, all this stuff out of it. I even got to run a couple other races on Devara's behalf, which I didn't show here because I gave her all the merch and stuff. I rated a solid like 9 out of 10. Like, they don't have you waiting in your heat for like an hour. Like, you also just have to time things out properly. If you don't go to the run center to pick up your bib midweek, like if you don't have that free time, that's completely fine, because you can just show up a little bit earlier to your race and they'll get you that bib like nothing. So I think it's very convenient. You know, they have a lot of porta potties throughout the course, all courses. It doesn't even matter the distance. Proper medical staff, like everything's really, really legit. They give you goodie bags like every time, or apples and water and this and that. Like, you're paying for pretty high quality races. You're paying to be a part of a pretty high quality organization. And the end goal is obviously, like, again, like I said, you're using this as stepping stones to get to that big thing, which is that New York City Marathon. There's actually a stat I saw the other day on Instagram Reels, because I'm not on TikTok, and it was like the New York City Marathon is now harder to get into than like certain Ivy League schools. I believe it's like Harvard and Yale. That's like insane. So like, to have guaranteed entry into that, to have a straight shot program into that, I think it's really a blessing for New York City residents, and it's something that really shouldn't be like underestimated, and it should be gratified, honestly. Like, I'm very grateful for New York Roadrunners and this program. It's very cool. Obviously, nothing in this video is sponsored by them, but I really did enjoy the program. I do wish the merch was a little bit prettier here and there, but, you know, they're doing their best. And like I said, everything is partnered with New Balance, so you get really quality stuff for the most part. My favorite race is the Achilles 4 mile. My least favorite race, I'm gonna cash out and say that my least favorite race were the virtual ones, because more expensive, and obviously you're just doing one of your regular training runs. Like, there's no awe to it. It's just like an easy way to help out of state, you know, New York people get their accomplishments done with the program. So I'll cheese out and I'll say those are my least favorite. Those are the 3 things I would focus on. If I've been rambling, I am sorry. Focus on the type of membership you want to get / scheduling. Focus on your volunteering, because that is much harder to get, and you don't want to run 9 races just to figure out, hey, I can't volunteer, so I just messed up this whole program and I have to do it another year again. So those are 2 of them. And the third one would be, know when the races are going to drop, keep notifications on, and schedule yourself in advance. This, like I said, costs a good bit of money, like $500 to qualify and obviously register for the New York City Marathon is a lot of money, but it's not that much money in comparison to out-of-state people who have to pay for entry, who have to pay higher programs, who have to donate up to $1,000 in charity, and then they have to fly in and book a hotel and the whole 9 yards. It becomes like thousands of dollars for them. So I think $570 is a pretty generous give especially since you're getting clothes and medals and experiences out of it. I think you get plenty of those nonetheless through the New York Roadrunners, and I would totally recommend it to anyone who is thinking about running that marathon and trying to commit themselves to something. It is definitely a commitment. It is definitely hard. The races, like I said, are very fair as far as terrain, as far as courses, as far as really timing and scheduling. They really, I think, like I said, they're very much so worth it. They're very much so high quality, and it's very doable. So thank you to the New York Roadrunners for all the opportunities this year. Thank you to my friends and family who helped me complete these races through injury and obviously my work schedule. And I am so excited for 2026 to run these races and maybe run it back a little bit with some new New York Roadrunners races in 2026. Looking at you, Brooklyn Half. So that is something that's really cool. That's something I'm really excited for. And best of luck, guys. I hope you got all the answers you're looking for. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below, and I will do my best to see them and respond to the best of my ability. Peace.
You just have to endure.